Greetings to you all. This is Innovations in Teaching and Learning, and I'm Dana Grove. Welcome. With me here today I have two guests. I have student Stephanie Goings, and I have one of Johnson County Community College's distinguished professors, Dr. Brian Wright. And we're here and we will be discussing the Model UN competition. So welcome to both of you, first of all.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Brian, if I can begin with you, just give me a little background on yourself. How long have you been teaching here? What do you teach here?
Okay.
And
I've been here for 5 years now, and I teach political science, particularly international relations and introduction to political science. And I've come here I'm originally from Connecticut, but before Johnson County, I was teaching at Western Carolina University in Sylva, North Carolina, and I was the Model UN advisor there. And as an undergraduate, I participated in Model United Nations and feel it's a valuable learning tool. So I was more than happy to take a job where they would actually pay me to be able to be a Model United Nations advisor. I thought that was something that I could do and do well.
yeah, an offer you couldn't refuse, huh?
That's right.
Exactly. Stephanie, what brought you here to this table today? Where did your path come from?
Well, I grew up in California and lived the majority of my life there. And about a little over a year ago, I decided to move out here in Johnson County just for a change of shoes, you can say, and some work purposes also. But I've been doing Model United Nations throughout high school and a couple years in college, and decided to continue it here at the JUCO program as well.
Okay, so you had exposure in high school
Yes.
with the Model UN.
Yes.
And we'll talk in a little bit also about the project, the high school project that you're involved with in the Kansas City metro area as well. So, what is your major? What do you plan on going into, Stephanie?
I'm an international business major, however, specifically in accounting as well.
Okay, good. And you got involved with the Model UN here.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of work do you do as far as the Model UN is concerned? What does it entail?
Well, as a Model UN delegate, we are assigned a country, and we are to play our role as ambassadors for that particular country. And so what that entails is that we do our research on our country's policy as far as whichever topic we're researching on and debating on. So it is our goal to achieve our country's position on that topic and fulfill it to the best possible way we can.
Mm-hmm. And this all leads up to competitions that you're involved in. And
Yes.
I understand that there are numerous competitions Johnson County Community College is involved in. Brian, if you could kind of sketch out a timeline working toward a competition, how long does it take to get prepared, and what kind of work is involved in that preparation?
Well, certainly Model United Nations is a learning experience that there's a learning curve to it, and until you do it, it's hard to actually simulate in the classroom with a smaller number of students. So it starts usually in the fall when we attend what's called the American Model United Nations Conference, which is in Chicago each year. And in the spring, we have a course, and when students enroll in that course, they obligate themselves to doing 3 events. One is the Midwest Model United Nations in St. Louis, and then the premier international, well, it's an international conference, but it's called the National Model United Nations, which is in New York City, and part of the conference itself takes place at the United Nations, so it's a great experience. And the last Model UN experience they have in the spring is the Metro Kansas City Model United Nations, which the students run for local high schools. It gives our students an ability and a chance to share with the local community their knowledge of Model UN.
Okay. So we actually have a course that students enroll in, and they can get credit and apply that toward graduation.
That's correct. It's a 3-credit course.
Okay.
That is transferable.
Okay, very good, very good. As far as preparation, Stephanie, a lot of research involved in this, I would imagine?
Yes, immense amounts of research and hours put in searching through the internet, for example, articles, newspapers, magazines like The Economist, which is very good for research for policy views, such, and then eventually writing the actual position paper and coming up with solutions that we can debate upon during the conference as well.
I want to ask more about the research here, but first of all, Brian, how is a country chosen? How do we get to be a certain country?
Usually, most conferences, they do it by lottery. So once you go to a conference, then you pay to be part of the lottery for the next year, and you basically pull it out of a hat. And so you go, if you get your first choice, then you get, the bigger countries. If it's last, then you get island states. So it's sort of by luck. The New York International Conference, they basically choose based on your experience and your record at the conference.
Yes. I've noticed from the awards here, we've been Greece and Tanzania and France.
That's
correct.
correct.
As a matter of fact. Okay. And you gave me a position paper, what's called a position paper here, and I looked through that, and I was just astonished with the number of topics in there. This is the one that we did as the delegation from France. Right. And it includes position papers on practically everything, food distribution, the country's position on international events like in Iraq and Iran. AIDS is discussed in there, even terrorist opportunities from outer space, as I kind of recall, something like that. My gosh, how can you research all that stuff?
Very carefully. Well, it does take a long time. There are a lot of hours you put into it, but all the effort you put into it is what you get out, and you see that in the conference, and the awards we received is a direct reflection of the amount of work we put into all the research and preparation as well.
Okay. All right, so you've done your research, and you've got all that with you, and you go to a competition. I think at this time we've got some film, some footage that we can show of, Brian?
Right. What you'll